Welcome back to the show. I am your host, Citizen Paranoid, and along for the ride with me is my co-host,
Science.
So at the time of this recording, we're just a few short hours away from the start of an exciting weekend that will be filled with loads of entertainment. People from all over will be attending. Organizers think they'll have record crowds, and of course, there will be controversy. I'm talking about...
Ooh, the Miami Grand Prix.
I wish, but we're wrong show. We're not talking the Miami Grand Prix.
It is happening this weekend, though.
It is happening.
The Formula One Miami Grand Prix.
Yes, you are correct. No, we're going to be talking about the Coronation of King Charles III.
Ugh.
So brew some coffee, pull up a chair, and open your mind. Today on Science vs. Conspiracy over Coffee, on the eve of the royal coronation, we will be discussing the weird and sometimes disturbing man that is King Charles III.
Oh, I look forward to it.
We'll be right back.
We're Bob and Jen, and along with our daughter and our dog Ted, we're planning on moving to California from Vancouver, BC. We're no spring chickens, but it's never too late to live the life you love. Learn how to move to California in your late 40s, our mistakes and successes, and have some laughs as you follow our journey. Will we ever make it to California? We're California dreaming, but until we get there, we are California streaming. Oh, our coffee today.
What is our coffee for today?
Our coffee today is a new one that I discovered recently at our local Safeway, and it's called Crank Coffee.
Crank Coffee.
Yeah, and it's funny because I don't know if it's meant to be a play on words because people get cranky without their coffee.
I know, I get cranky when I don't have coffee.
I sure do. But it's actually, all of their imaging, their branding is kind of based on a more sustainable, I guess, premise in cycling. And so there's a crankshaft on a bike, all these kind of things. Some of the different blends refer to different things about cycling, but the actual coffee that we're drinking today is Morning Glory.
Morning Glory.
Yeah, and so then of course I start hearing Noel Gallagher and Liam Gallagher in my head, but it's a pretty good coffee.
Yeah, well, thank you for being a crank.
Thank you for being a crank. That's good. Do you guys get that reference? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. And of course, we'll leave a link in the description for the coffee.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to talk about, there's a couple things here about King Charles. We're not going to get into any of the reptilian shape-shifting stories that David Icke and others subscribe to. We're going to be kind of sticking with some of his weird quirks, stuff that people don't really know about him or have forgotten.
Are these more like, if they were to be put out to the mainstream, would these be more mainstream accepted than perhaps the reptilian?
Yeah, I would say so, because I've found a lot of these in like The Guardian and
so like actual news
sources. Yeah. But they're really weird.
Okay.
And some of them he's even gone on record saying some of these things.
That he's weird himself?
Well, not
or just that these are facts.
That these are facts.
Okay. Before we jump into that though, I do want to say you do have a series planned on Queen Elizabeth and reptilian stuff, don't you?
It's in the works, yes. And we have, when the Queen passed away earlier this year, or later last year.
Yeah, it was 2022.
Yeah, we did an episode on her.
Yeah.
So it'll be that would be a continuation of some of the stuff we talked about during that episode.
Yeah, but even that was just a really brief kind of touching on it, because I know you have a ton of reading and stuff that you can share, like investigative stuff that you can share from your, conspiracy realm about the whole reptilian premise.
Exactly.
So our listeners can definitely watch for that in the future.
Yep, that is coming. It is planned, and it will be done at some point.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So today we're not touching the reptilians.
We're not
other
touching
than
the
that.
reptilians.
Okay, good. I don't want to touch a reptilian.
No, neither do I.
Ugh. Unless it's a little pet Komodo dragon or something. Maybe.
No.
No, not even?
No, it can be like the little dinosaur thing from How Ridiculous.
Like a stuffy Rexy.
Like a Rexy.
Rexy. Okay. That's as close as you get to reptilians.
Yep.
Okay.
But it's interesting, May 6th. That's tomorrow for us, or whenever you're listening. May 6th is the date of his coronation.
Correct.
Right? So I thought May 6th, I would do a little bit of a deep dive into why May 6th. I've found that there was like a number of interesting dates of importance May 6th throughout history. In 1527, German troops began sacking Rome, bringing on the end of the Renaissance.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. In 1787 was the first African-American Masonic Lodge.
Okay.
In Boston.
Okay.
In 1626, sorry, this was just a bit out of order. 1626, Dutch colonialists purchased Manhattan from Native Americans.
Okay. These all occurred on May 6th.
May 6th.
So far.
So far.
Okay. Well, all these things you're saying.
All these things I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay. 1856 was the first major U.S. rail disaster, killing 46 people.
Wow.
And we've had an increase in rail disasters in the last little while.
So 1856?
1853.
You said 56. You said 53, then you said 56, and then you said 53.
1853.
Okay.
And there was 46 people killed.
Oh, okay. So maybe
my brain,
my
dyslexic brain. That. Yeah. 1910, King Edward VII of England died.
Oh. Okay.
So again, kind of weird to have the coronation on a major death
anniversary.
on a death anniversary.
Yeah.
1979, the USSR performs a nuclear test.
Oh, was that their first?
I think so. The big one, though, was in 1937. Do you know what happened in 1937?
No, I wasn't alive yet. I'm old, but I'm not that old.
A hydrogen-filled German airship, the Hindenburg, caught fire and crashed while attempting to dock in New Jersey.
That's hilarious. I just gotta say, that's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, the humanity.
Oh, the humanity.
97 people on board were killed.
I mean, it's not funny that it crashed, and the 97 people.
Oh, sorry. 35 of the 97 people on board were killed.
Okay. So definitely I'm not laughing at the death. That's tragic, for sure. But I had noticed as you were going through the list that, each of these things that happened, I mean, they're noted down in history for a reason because they're significant. Most of them were bringing about significant changes.
Yeah, and death.
Right? Not all of them. Not all of them were death related. Not all of them. But the crashing of the Hindenburg, that's what made me laugh and think about death. Like, why would you want to have such an auspicious day, such an important day, on the death of your great, 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 great uncle or whoever Edward VII was to him, as well as the death of all those people crashing the Hindenburg?
Exactly.
That's weird.
It's bizarre.
That's weird. Was it just like the least offensive date out of all the ones they could have picked? Like, they could have picked any date in the whole world.
Yeah, and that's what I found like this really odd.
Yeah.
But it kind of plays into his character as a person because he's filled with scandal, with racist remarks, financial scandals, and sexual scandals.
Yeah. And he got Diana offed.
Yeah, and that's a whole other thing that I want to get into in another episode.
Yeah.
Just the royal family's involvement in her untimely death.
Yeah, because there's no way, like, maybe, ultimately the car crash because of the paparazzi chasing them, but there were so many precursors to that that essentially you can blame the royal family. But anyway, I digress. And I don't mean to steal your thunder either.
Yeah, no.
Speaking of thunder, that was a crazy thunderclap we had last night. Like, I know it's not related to this topic, but in a way it is, because I thought the Hindenburg was crashing through our ceiling in a way.
Yeah, because we don't get those thunderstorms like that.
No, we're
very
in
often.
Vancouver, BC, people. Like, it was nuts. We do not get stuff like that here at all. And all of a sudden, I was in the bathroom getting ready last night, and Conspiracy was still downstairs with our puppy. And we both texted each other simultaneously saying, "What the hell was that?" Because it sounded like a sonic boom or something over the top of our house. It was crazy.
Yeah, and if I didn't go outside with the dog a little bit after that and I saw flashes, I would have thought something else was going on too.
Yeah, I was actually scared that a train car, because we don't live all that far from a rail line, I thought a train car had blown up. That's and I grew up, we both did, in southern Ontario, where thunderstorms were very, very common. We love them. They're so cool. And so we're quite well aware of what thunder sounds like. And so this really shook both of us. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, because we don't get it that often.
Yeah. But anyway.
Switching gears back.
Going back
to King Charles III.
I'm good at segues.
So he's got some quirks.
Yes.
We'll get into his more scandalous things in a second.
Okay.
But his quirks. Every morning, he has his pajamas pressed.
And like, after he takes them off, he makes them iron his pajamas?
Yes.
Weird.
And he also presses his shoelaces.
What?
Yeah. They got to be flat and done with an iron.
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
Why? Is he just inept? Like, he can't tie his shoelaces if they're not flat?
Probably.
Wow.
And the bath plug in his bathtub when he's taking a bath, because King Charles takes a bath.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It's not an image I want to think about. Thank you.
The bath plug has to be in a certain position, and the water has to be at the precise temperature.
Okay, well, I mean, I get the temperature thing. You know, people are fussy about their bath temperatures.
But the plug has to be set properly, too.
That's really weird. So I'm envisioning, like those rubber stoppers that you put in, right? And it's got like a little loop in it.
Yeah.
And so if the loop's facing the wrong way, he gets pissed off or something.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's like gold-plated.
That's insane.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh my God.
But this is... Oh, sure, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, pressing his pajamas and... Like, you laugh about Michael Scott getting his jeans pressed at the dry cleaners and stuff, but your pajamas?
Yeah, and he's got he's got a large staff of servants to do this for him.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they've got massive employ.
He's got 11 secretaries.
11?
11.
For what? He doesn't even do anything.
I know.
Like, there's so many people underneath, and like it all spreads out. What does he actually do that he needs 11 secretaries?
Well, I'll get to that in half a second here.
Okay.
But one of his many servants, his large staff of servants, and I don't know if they rotate or how this works or if he's got a dedicated person, but he has a valet to push out his toothpaste onto his toothbrush in the morning and at night and whenever he brushes his teeth.
Wow.
He doesn't do it himself.
That's just lazy.
Yeah.
That's despicable.
Yeah, he doesn't do it himself.
So, like, right now, I'm already imagining the wages spent on this person, and like, everybody deserves to have a good job, but the wages spent on this person who is responsible for putting the toothpaste on his toothbrush and the person who's ironing his shoelaces, that could probably wipe out the national debt of some countries. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's a bit of an exaggeration, but
And they're probably two different people.
yeah, it's such a waste of money.
Yeah. Well, his whole salary is a waste of money. He makes 11 million pounds a year.
That's disgusting. That is disgusting.
He has 6 homes on his estate
Wow.
and a fleet of expensive cars.
I can only imagine.
So he's also been known to be anti-science because of his homeopathic preferences.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And he's joined the faculty of homeopaths, which support the registered medical professionals of homeopathic practices.
Wow. So for our listeners who don't know much about homeopathic medicine, essentially it's sugar in water, diluted, and there's no scientific evidence to actually support that any of the homeopathic tinctures or anything else actually do any good. It's unbelievable. It's like a 1 part per million by the time the homeopaths finish their dilution.
Mm-hmm.
They're highly ineffective.
Well, he apparently supports it.
Yeah, it's placebo when it comes down to it.
Yeah, you just got to wonder what else is going on, because he is 73 and becoming king and seemingly in good health.
What does that have to do with it?
Well, if the homeopathic stuff is a bunch of hooey,
Which it is.
and what else is he taking? What other kinds of drugs? What else does he have access to? I guess is where I'm going with it. Is his, and I said I wouldn't go there, but is it his reptilian shape-shifting abilities?
No. You know what it is? It's the dude who makes, what'd you say, 11 million pounds or something? What did you say his? No.
Yeah, he made.
What's his annual income?
17 million.
There you go. A year, right?
A year.
Annual?
Annual, yeah.
It's that money goes to buying the absolute best in physicians, actual medical doctors, medical care, procedures, tests, and also also buying out all the people who are aware that he is going for all these tests and procedures and getting these medications, and it's buying everybody's silence. And I know that sounds like a conspiracy theory, but that's far more likely than reptilians.
Or the other sacrifices, human sacrifices, bloodletting that he's been involved with.
No, I'm sure he's just using some of his ridiculous wealth to pay for really good doctors.
Yeah,
and to cover it up.
And he's never worked a day in his life.
Yeah. Getting paid 17 million pounds a year for nothing, for being a figurehead.
Yep.
That's it. It's disgusting. And, you know, the amount of people that you can buy with that money, right? So, you know, even if if he's in seemingly good health, quotation marks around seemingly good health, you know, again, you're buying the media, you're buying whoever you need to keep things hidden and under wraps anyway.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of things that were hidden under wraps for a while, was his affair with Camilla Parker Bowles.
Yeah.
Camilla Parker Bowles.
Yeah, I mean, that was supposedly a really poor kept secret around the monarchy, I think. Like, I think Diana knew, and
yeah, everybody knew.
Yeah, but I guess the media didn't get wind of it until they officially separated. Charles and Diana officially separate. Who gives up Diana for
I know
Camilla? Like, you know, looks are just beauty, skin deep, and all that, and you know, everything. Maybe Camilla's a very nice person when you know her,
No, she's not. She's a monster.
But look at
From
Diana,
everything that I've read and heard about her.
right? Diana was like going and hanging out with little babies that have AIDS and stuff, and she was just, oh, anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
I know she wasn't perfect either. I'm not, idolizing, worshiping Diana to put her on a pedestal that she was perfect, because I know she wasn't, but Charles did her dirty, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
What did you find out about the cheating?
Oh, just, yeah, it was the Britain's worst kept secret that everybody knew, and yeah.
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 He's a horrible person.
And he may have wanted to get rid of Diane out of the picture, because with Diane still alive, he was unable to marry Camilla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shameful.
Yeah, but we'll get into that in a different episode.
Okay.
I think it was Prince Harry. When he was younger, he was hit in the head with a golf club.
Oh, okay. By whom?
Schoolmate or something.
Oh, okay.
But instead of being with him at the hospital because he underwent surgery, Charles went to the opera.
Oh my God. Really?
Yeah, he went to the opera.
Wow.
Yeah.
His son's in the hospital.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he goes to the opera.
Wow. That's pathetic.
Yeah. Then there was his alleged racism towards Meghan.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I don't want to read Harry's book because I don't want to support that either. Because say what you will about him. There's definitely a lot of good that they've done. I don't want to buy Harry's book or read it because I don't support everything that he and Meghan do and how they've done it. But the racism that they've talked about that she has experienced, I believe that. I don't believe the way that they handled it was the best for Meghan and Harry themselves. I don't believe they handled it the best way they could have.
Well, apparently Charles asked Camilla what she anticipated the offspring of Harry and Markle
Is that what he called her?
yeah,
Really?
would look like. Camilla said gorgeous, of course, but Charles clarified, and he wasn't talking about the beauty. He was asked, when he was asked, adding, I mean, what do you think the complexion of their children will be?
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's horrible. Wow. What a jerk.
Yeah. So we've kind of established that he is a horrible person.
Yeah.
With his racist comments and his scandals, with his affair with Camilla. But he has also been involved in some financial scandals as well.
Tell me about it.
He allegedly accepted commissions for his Prince of Wales charity foundation from the family of Osama bin Laden 3 months after Osama bin Laden was reportedly killed.
Really?
Yeah, 3 million euros.
Wow.
Charles personally brokered the deal.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
This was against his advisors' objections. Like, they objected to him doing this.
Yeah, rightly so.
Yeah, and optics and whatever, even though the family of Osama bin Laden claims that they don't have any ties to terrorism or Osama bin Laden. Being so close to 9/11 and the capture and murder of Osama bin Laden, they still donated money to the Prince of Wales Charitable Foundation.
I mean, I guess that's a tricky one because, you've heard time and again about people who distance themselves from the evil in their families, right? And certainly there's many, many cases in the world where, someone acts completely independent of their upbringing, of their family, you can't blame the family necessarily for the sins of the son or what have you, for example. But even if they were trying to do good, even if they were trying to, because supporting the charity, etc., even if you don't want to hold it against the family, you still shouldn't. It's still, that's a very touchy one, and you still should not accept that money.
Yeah, and apparently when they met one-on-one, which is highly unusual in these sorts of things.
Wait, are you talking about a rep from his family or
No,
Osama?
him personally.
Osama himself.
No, sorry. His family, his brothers.
Okay, so Charles met with Osama's family.
Yeah.
Okay.
At this point, Osama bin Laden had been killed.
Okay.
But it's reported that they met and exchanged the money in like plastic grocery store bags.
What?
And bags from Fortnum and Mason.
I don't know what that is.
Apparently it's a upmarket department store.
Really? Oh my God.
But which holds a royal warrant to supply the prince's household with groceries. Like that.
Oh, wow. Well, that's so weird.
Yeah. So I don't know, maybe he had one of their bags laying around after delivery and thought, hey, I'll just use this and go grab some cash.
Good for him for recycling those bags.
Yeah.
From the royal grocer.
I know.
Oh my God.
And this
How out of touch can you be?
Yeah, and this comes after reports emerged that the Prince of Wales accepted more bags containing millions of euros in cash during a meeting with the former Prime Minister of Qatar.
But this is so mind-boggling. Like, and what is the deal with these people lugging around cold hard cash?
I know you only see that like in like narcos and spies.
Like, seriously, what the hell?
Yeah, so he's not a good guy.
No.
And he's becoming king, which brings up a whole other scenario of should the monarchy continue?
Oh, I mean, people have been rightly so talking about abolishing the monarchy for years. And I mean, it would be a massive undertaking.
Mm-hmm.
But should it happen? Absolutely.
Right. From what I understand, in the Commonwealth, every country in the Commonwealth has different rules on if they ever wanted to distance themselves from the royal family and leave the Commonwealth. They're all different. Here in Canada, each province has to unanimously accept that they don't want to be part of the Commonwealth anymore, which isn't going to happen because you have provinces like Quebec, they'll be like, oh yeah, sure, let's get the hell out. But then other provinces like Ontario and British Columbia, where it's going to be a lot more difficult to get that 100% vote.
You mean like so in our own provincial legislature, like they would have to unanimously agree?
Yeah.
And then, so if Quebec said yes and BC said yes, but everybody else did not come to a unanimous agreement, then does that mean Canada would not?
Correct.
So not only does each government within the province have to unanimously agree, but then it has to be every province and territory or else it can't happen?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's a big undertaking, at least here in Canada. Other countries like Australia and I can't remember some of the other countries that have already kind of taken some votes to kind of start the process. In Canada, it's a lot more tricky than in those other countries.
Okay, yeah. It's funny when you hear more and more people in the UK speaking up against the monarchy. Oh my God! Did you hear that? The dog is snoring. I gotta jump in here for a second because I just watched a video the other day of Robert Smith from The Cure, who is from Liverpool, and he was quoted. I actually watched him say it, and it was just brilliant. Absolutely, they should abolish the monarchy. He thinks it's absolutely ridiculous that they still have a monarchy, and his point was, somebody had asked him, I guess, if he was ever offered to be Sir Robert Smith, would he accept? And he said he's very disappointed in his contemporaries who accept that, because the monarchy is so pointless that also their designations are so pointless. And he said, and this is a guy who makes his living off playing guitar, right? And making music. And he said, if I would ever accept that, which I would not, but if I ever would, I would want you to chop off my hands.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's why we love Robert Smith.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are starting to feel that way, especially Gen Z.
Yeah.
Gen Z and
Gen
millennials.
Z. Yeah.
And I think to a large degree, our own group, the Gen Xers, we don't have that connection like the baby boomers and like our parents had with the monarch.
Yeah, they were really royal watchers, royal worshippers, royalists, right? Our generation and since, it's decreasingly per generation.
Yeah, and we see the scandals and the waste that the royal family has.
Yeah, and I mean, part of that's just because of the way global technology has changed too. Like in our parents' day, you know,
they didn't have...
There was no internet or social media, of course. So, like, how did they know what was going on in the royal family?
Yeah, we get to see it like up in front.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, certainly it'd be interesting to know what our followers think about abolishing the monarchy. But tomorrow it's going to be, anybody who would be wanting to protest it, I'm sure is going to be kept a zillion miles away. So tomorrow is just going to be beautiful and flowers and lots of waste.
And big giant penises mowed into the lawn.
What?
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter this morning, and I'll put a link in the show notes. But someone had mowed a big giant penis into the grounds that the coronation's going to be on.
Oh, they had some balls.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Awesome. Yeah. Wow. Well, you can bet they took care of that pretty quickly.
Oh, that's what she said.
Good one. Well, we should leave it on that note.
On that note, we'll leave it there for this week. Thanks for listening. If you like the show, please subscribe. We have a premium channel on Apple Podcasts where you can get some exclusive content for as little as $2 a month.
So go check it out.
Go check it out. And we got lots going on the Instagrams, the Twitters, and on the YouTubes. Yeah, and
definitely if you're interested in ever starting your own podcast, we actually have a link to all of our gear as well. So if this is something that you find you're passionate about, you can check out our link to all of our gear and what makes us roll on a daily basis. Including the coffee.
All right, so that's it for this week.
I'm Science, saying stay curious but rely on the facts.
And I'm Conspiracy, and remember, being paranoid is smart. We'll see you next time. This episode of Science vs. Conspiracy Over Coffee was produced by Story Monkey Productions.